In this video, I'm going to be talking about my month 4 update to my lean bulking journey. When I started this bulk, I weighed in at about 146 to 148 pounds. Yes, I was beach ready. Yes, I had all the definition in the world. Yes, I had the chiseled jawline, but there was one major problem, and that major problem is that I was lacking mass. If you guys look at what I used to look like, you would notice that as the definition was there, I barely had any mass on my torso, and that is a big problem. And the reason that's a big problem is because when you're chasing an aesthetic physique, when you're chasing the best physique that you can possibly get, you want to also be well-rounded. And even though I've always had a strong suit for my arms, like my arms are always, the best part of me, the part that will always stand out, and my torso was lacking behind. So as my other body parts, especially my shoulders. That is why I chose to go on this bulk. The thing with me is that I've always wanted to be 160 to 165 pounds, but lean, chiseled, fully defined, and that is just my dream physique. That is the physique that once I get to, I'm probably just gonna maintain for the rest of my life and call it a day. And I am currently on a 9-month lean bulking journey. To be honest with you, being on month 4 is kind of crazy because it's like as if I'm already like halfway there. And I felt like it was just yesterday where it was like August 3rd and I was just like starting to slowly gain weight. Now, I currently weigh about 159 pounds, and you guys are probably thinking, why do you even weigh 159 pounds? You're just going everywhere. Well, to be honest with you guys, Thanksgiving has absolutely made me fat. I always told myself, maybe I won't go this crazy. Maybe I'll eat just a little bit. Maybe I'll just pick at some things here and there. But the reality is, when Thanksgiving was there, the day before Thanksgiving and the day after, so 3 days straight, I was pretty much just cheating on my diet, just eating whatever I wanted, to be honest with you. So by the time Thanksgiving was over, I weighed in at about 162 pounds. It's kind of a lot of weight, especially when I used to be 153 to 154 pounds before Thanksgiving. So I pretty much put on a lot of weight, but I'm just gonna do a mini cut and go down to my expected weight. So honestly, it's nothing really complicated. It's nothing out of this world. It's just an easy fix, but I plan to cut down to where I'm supposed to be. Now, you guys are probably wondering, Julian, what weight are you supposed to be right now? Well, the weight that I'm supposed to be, 154.5 pounds. You guys are probably wondering, Einstein, why are your calculations correct? And the answer is through this simple equation. I have been bulking for about 17 weeks now, and I'm trying to gain at a rate of 0.5 pounds a week. So if you put 17 and you times it by half a pound a week, you're going to get 8.5 pounds gained. And when you add 146 pounds plus 8.5 pounds, you're going to get 154.5 pounds, which is where I'm supposed to be currently as I'm recording this video, which is December 1st, 2025. But since it's gonna take me about 1 to 2 weeks to fully balance and bounce back from the holidays, I'm gonna just land at 155 pounds, just call it a day, because that'll probably be where I'm supposed to be by the time I'm already bounced back. And my current split for the week is on Monday, I'll be training my chest, my tris, and my side delts. On Tuesdays, I will be training my back, my biceps, and my rear delts. On Wednesday, I'll be training legs. On Thursday, I will be training arms and shoulders. And on Fridays, I will be training my chest and my back. And this is the ideal split because it gives me a chance to train every single muscle group twice a week. And there's a couple things that I haven't really mentioned that are worth mentioning, and it is that I do cardio every single time that I'm in the gym, and I also train abs every single time that I'm in the gym. And on Saturdays, I just train whatever I feel like training. Saturdays is just a day where sometimes I walk into the gym, I train whatever, and other times I don't even go to the gym on a Saturday. Saturdays is just one of those days where I work out if I want to. If I don't want to work out, I don't work out. And even if I do work out, I just work out mainly just to pass time, socialize, and etc. Nothing really significant when it comes to my workout routine. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I have been a little bit bit lazy when it came to just training my neck overall, and also I'd be doing legs like every other week. I'd rather just say it now because I just want this transformation to be, you know, as transparent as possible. These are just one of these things where I want to start getting motivated again to just keep pursuing on a consistent basis, but these are just my weak points as of now. You know, I've been good when it comes to the abs, I've been doing really well when it comes to the cardio, and you know, everything else has just been spot on. And another thing that I need to mention is that more often than not, sometimes I just move around these days. Like sometimes if I need to be in the gym in and out, like I need to go fast, instead of doing what I originally planned for Monday, I would just switch it out for arms and shoulders, or I would just switch it out for chest and back if that's what I feel like doing. And that is one thing I wanted to mention, is that even though I have set days for certain exercises, the reality is that most of the time, 50% of the time, I just move them around. But what I also need to mention is that even though I move these days around, I still get all of these workouts completed throughout the week. So nothing is being left behind on the table. Now, before I continue with this video, if you currently are liking what you're watching right now, and I'm assuming you are because you probably made it this far already, you're almost done with the video, just keep persevering. Just make sure you like the video and also comment any suggestions you guys may have, and let's continue with the video. When it comes to my protein intake, ideally I would intake between 160 to 180 grams of protein a day. That is the ideal for my diets. That's the ideal just for me overall. And the reason why I set my protein like this is because my ideal weight is 160 to 165 pounds. So it just made sense to just have more protein than what I need for that, just in case, you know, my body just wants to use it magically. Now, when it comes to how much I eat in a day, when it comes to calories, I usually intake about 23 to 2400 calories a day. And this amount of calories is the optimal range that I found in order to really just gain weight at a slow pace. So that way I'm not getting too fat. And it's also a perfect rate for me to gain weight. So that way I'm not just, you know, moving like a turtle and just, you know, just doing whatever and just stalling time. So I just found this range just to be like a sweet spot, so that way I get to gain the weight at about a half a pound a week. And you guys are probably observing at this point that I always use range and I don't always have a fixed number, and there is an actual reason to this. And the reason why I do this is because it adds a lot of flexibility when it comes to my diets. It adds a lot of flexibility to, you know, my life overall. And yes, even though 100 calories isn't really gonna kill anybody if I go over or under, and when I give myself a range when it comes to like an ideal target, it just honestly makes my life easier. And another thing that I need to mention is that I started taking creatine recently, and I'm gonna show you guys right now that this is currently the creatine that I'm using. You know, I bought it on Amazon. These are just the capsules, and the reason why I choose to use the capsules is because when you're using the capsules, in my experience at least, there's no leftover residue of creatine. Like there's no leftover powder left of creatine. So when you use the capsules, you're taking in the entire 5 grams. You're not just leaving 10 to 20% of the creatine, you know, stuck to the cup. When it comes to water intake, I usually intake between 4 to 4.5 liters of water a day. The reason why I do this is just for one simple reason. You know, I just want to have healthy looking skin, nice muscles in the future. I want to maximize this bulk. I want to, you know, just be healthy overall. You know, I want to look handsome. Yeah, that's pretty much why I drink a lot of water, you know? First, I thought it was just a cool thing just to drink a gallon of water a day. And as time has been going on, as a month just passed already, it just slowly, honestly, just became a habit. Now, in my experience, this month has been very good overall. And one thing that I've come to realize is that throughout this month, there was one major holiday, which was Thanksgiving. And even though I got derailed just a little bit because of Thanksgiving, I still overall achieved, you know, the goal of just slowly putting on more strength, you know, just being able to just control the weights that I wasn't usually able to control much of last time. Like, I'll give you guys an example, dealing with 90-pound dumbbells. And the reason why I named this example a lot is because dumbbells is something that I'm really focused on improving. And also, I just find it fascinating that one day in the future, I'm probably going to be able to press 100 pounds. And the reason why I always come back to this also is just because I'm starting to be able to move 90s really well. well. And yes, even though I took a pause on just putting on more and more weights just to really just fix my form, it still doesn't change the fact that as time goes on, as this bulk goes on, I don't know if it's the creatine, I don't know if it's a lot of caffeine, hard work, dedication, my diet, whatever, everything all above, I'm able to control weight that I wasn't usually able to control. And this is important because as I'm starting to build the ability to, you know, control heavier weights, as I'm able to start building the ability to just really just refine my form before I really go up in weights, it's gonna really give me the opportunity to maximize my bulk. And that's all I want. I want to be able to maximize this bulk and just to really see how far I can take this. Even though Thanksgiving has done a catastrophic amount of damage to my physique, I would do my best to get back on track by doing a mini cuts for about a week, 2 weeks maybe max, and I'm just gonna eat 2,000 calories, and in 2 weeks I'll be back to where I'm supposed to be, especially when I add in some cardio. And that's usually how I do my mini cuts anyways, a week to 3 weeks. 3 weeks is the absolute max, and usually it doesn't last 3 weeks, but usually it's 1 to 2 weeks, and between 1 to 2 weeks, that is when I'm just doing a mini cut and bam, everything is just back to normal. Another thing that I'm hyper aware of and I'm always cognizant about is my fat accumulation. I am very cautious and I'm monitoring very closely on the amount of fat that I'm putting on over time. And the reason why I do this is because, as you guys may or may not know, I hate bulking to the point where my face looks bad, to where I'm no longer as handsome as I should be. And it's just one of those things where, you know, if I'm not cautious on the amount of fat that I'm putting on, I'm just gonna fall out of the bulk and I'm just gonna cut too soon. And in order for me to mitigate this, in order for me to just, you know, reduce that factor, what I do is I try to make sure that I'm always around the expected weights. Whether I'm a pound above, whether I'm a pound below, I always make sure that I'm very close to the expected weights that I'm supposed to be. So yeah, this is the end of the video. This is the end of my progress update for month 4. If you like content like this, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in another video.